Okay, so we are in New York, but of course, why wouldn't we be? Anyway, I'm sure everybody has probably seen this already. It's Thomas Mascia Jr. shot in the right quadricep. You know, feel sorry for me, feel sorry for me. Anyway, um, they were, I know it's from last year. I get it. Give me a minute. The first appearance was supposed to be in February. I could find nothing about it. So I figured I'd give it some time and see if, you know, because government's not in a hurry about putting information out that makes them look bad or stupid. So February rolled around, I didn't find anything. First few days in March, I gave it a week, and I'm over it. So this is where we're at with it thus far. If something comes up, if somebody has a link, put it in the description to the first appearance, and we're gonna go with what we have now. And this is where we're at. This is a 25-minute video, but I've bopped through the countdown for them to show up and the other troopers congratulating everybody and patting them on the back and shit. So this is where we're at with this one. And I think there's, I don't know, 3 or 4 videos in total that's going to sum the articles up, so we don't have to do a bunch of reading. Also, there's some people that don't like it when I do this, so I'm going to try to remember to do it 3 times throughout this video. 92% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You have your phone in your hand, you're at your laptop, all you gotta do is click the button. I'll stop the harassment. Now, on to New York.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. I'm the New York State Police Superintendent Stephen James. Along with me are First Deputy Superintendent Christopher West, Colonel Darren Pitkin, the Field Commander. To my far left, Lieutenant Colonel Paul DeQuarto, and to my immediate left, Major Steve Udice, the Troop L Commander. We feel lucky and we certainly feel blessed that the state trooper who was shot just before midnight did not have a life-threatening injury. But at the same time, we're extremely concerned that the violent individual who perpetrated this crime is still on the loose.
Now remember, violent individual is still on the loose.
Rest assured, we will not stop until the person is in custody. Last night, around 11:45 p.m., Trooper Thomas Mascia was patrolling westbound on the Southern State Parkway, just east of exit 17 in West Hempstead, when he spotted a black sedan parked in the median, left side of the roadway. Trooper Mascia, who became a state trooper in 2019, pulled up behind the sedan, and he made a note of the license plate number, and he got out of his patrol vehicle. As he approached the rear of the suspect vehicle, he heard several pops and realized that he was wounded in his right leg. Trooper Mascia then retreated to cover behind his patrol vehicle as the sedan that he initially approached fled the scene. He was able to retrieve his first aid bag and tend to his own wounds. Within minutes, other troopers began to arrive at the scene, and one of them transported Trooper Mascia to the Nassau County Medical Center for further treatment. Now, as I mentioned, Trooper Mascia's wounds were not deemed to be life-threatening, but it's too soon to determine what kind of recovery he will endure. He underwent surgery a short time ago as he was struck by what is believed to be a .22 caliber round in his right quadricep in the vicinity near his knee. We're conducting an all-out search for the suspect vehicle, and we're asking for the public's help. In that regard, the vehicle, described as a black sedan, most likely a Dodge Charger, with a temporary New Jersey tag of 997636T as in Tom.
I would wonder how many dark Dodge Chargers are in New York.
The vehicle also has a custom matte gray exhaust tip on each side. We're asking anyone who remembers.
Wow, he went all out with that lie, didn't he? Oh, I'm sorry. He went all out with that description, didn't he?
Seeing the vehicle when it was parked in the median prior to the incident, and if they saw it driving at a high rate of speed away from the scene, or any other time before or thereafter, to contact the state police immediately. Troop L Farmingdale, 631-756-3300. Someone who is willing to fire a gun at a law enforcement officer is most certainly a dangerous individual.
Think about that. Anyone willing to fire a firearm at a law enforcement officer is certainly a dangerous person. Let that sink in.
So in order to ensure the safety of the public, we would like to get that person in custody as soon as possible. And one note I might add, we do not have body-worn camera footage of the vehicle shooting, ideally itself, or particularly of the vehicle. The cameras, body-worn cameras, they're designed to activate automatically when a full light bar on the patrol car is activated.
Almost like he would know that, so he only activated the backlights.
However, in this instance, Trooper Mascia, he activated his rear lights as soon as he saw visible oncoming traffic. His camera did activate when he unholstered his weapon with regard to intended self-defense following the shooting. But at this time, the suspect vehicle, as indicated, had fled.
Wow, how convenient.
I simply want to thank the Nassau County Police Department and the New York City Police Department for their ongoing assistance in this regard. And at this juncture, I would like to introduce to you Major Udice, who will address further particulars with regard to this investigation. Major?
Thank you, Superintendent. As the Superintendent stated, I'm Major Steve Udice, the Troop L, Long Island Troop Commander. I want to thank the Superintendent and the New York State Police Executive Committee from Albany for their support and their presence here today. I want to thank the ongoing outstanding effort by the many members of the numerous specialized units of the New York State Police that have joined us in this investigation, and those units are way too many to list. I want to thank the Nassau County Police Department, the NYPD, and the many federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies from the surrounding tri-state area that have reached out to me to offer their assistance. As the Superintendent mentioned, Trooper Mascia was on routine patrol last evening at approximately 11:45 p.m. on the Southern State Parkway, westbound, in between exits 17 and 18 in the town of Hempstead, which is in Nassau County. Trooper Mascia stopped to help what appeared to be a stranded motorist. That motorist was operating what we believe is a later model, dark-colored Dodge Charger with rear tinted windows and a temporary New Jersey registration of 997636 T as in Tom. Trooper Mascia's desire was to help someone that appeared to need assistance. Unfortunately, Trooper Mascia's good intentions were met with unexpected gunshots directed at him from a coward who, without any provocation or good cause, began to shoot at him.
Remember, a coward.
Unfortunately, Trooper Mascia was struck, but he was able to remove himself from that line of fire and retreat to the troop car. Trooper Mascia did not have an opportunity to return any fire because the unidentified suspect immediately fled the scene, traveling in a westerly direction on the Southern State Parkway, heading towards exit 17, towards New York City. Trooper Mascia then called for assistance and applied a tourniquet to himself to limit the amount of bleeding. Luckily for us, the injuries to Trooper Mascia are non-life-threatening. I want to thank the Nassau University Medical Center for their prompt, expeditious, and professional attention provided to Trooper Mascia. I would like to share that it is my belief that anyone that would target a law enforcement officer whose primary purpose is to keep all of us safe is one of the most dangerous individuals in our society.
Wait, what if that individual is a law enforcement officer, still one of the most dangerous in our society?
For this reason, we will aggressively pursue every lead with the full intention of identifying, locating, and apprehending the suspect responsible for this cowardly act.
Cowardly act.
We're going to accept and take advantage of all the assistance we have been offered by the many federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies.
All the government that was out looking for this phantom dark Dodge Charger that was driven by a black or brown guy. Now, think about how many brown or black guys were put in danger by all this manhunt for a cop that thought they might be driving a brown or a blue or black, a dark Dodge Charger, and just random stopping them.
And we're going to work tirelessly on this investigation. I want to thank all of those agencies for your offer to assist and let you know we will be taking many of you up on those offers. We're also going to ask that the public join us in this effort. And as an added benefit, for any member of the public that so rightly chooses to help, we've partnered with the Suffolk County Crime Stoppers, who have graciously offered to start with a $5,000 reward for anyone that provides information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the suspect responsible for this cowardly act.
Well, yeah, because they're supposed to make their first appearance in February, and nobody's heard crap about it.
I would encourage anyone that has any information to share, no matter how inconsequential you may think that information to be, to contact the New York State Police at 631-756-3300. Please keep in mind that it is often small pieces of information gathered that ultimately leads to big results. So please do not discount the value of any information that you may have. We know that there's people out there that likely have information to share.
We do.
For anyone that may have been traveling on the Southern State Parkway westbound last night at approximately 11:45 p.m. and may have observed a dark-colored Dodge Charger or similar type vehicle, please step forward and pass that information on to us at 631-756-3300. I'm going to open it up to questions, but now that I've spoken about my prepared remarks, now I'm going to speak to the heart, to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Last night we had a trooper. This trooper, his one and only intention was to help someone who appeared to need help.
Lies.
He got out of his troop car, he walked to this car with the full intentions of helping them.
Lies.
And he became a target for them.
Lies.
They started firing rounds at him.
Lies.
This is unacceptable. And we all need to recognize that if someone that will target one of those that is out there to keep all of us safe,
lies.
He is or she is of great danger to every single one of us.
So remember that. Law enforcement is of grave danger to every single one of us.
And I am imploring the public.
I mean, that's what he said.
If you have any information, please forward us. It is imperative that we remove this individual from the streets of our society. At this time, I'm going to open this up to any questions, but I also want everybody to be well aware this is an ongoing investigation. I'm going to do my best to answer your questions, but also bear with me. There's certain things I won't be able to answer.
Major, two things. First off, can we just spell the trooper's name?
Mascia.
He's a junior. We'll get to that.
Thomas, yes. 27 years old.
And second, you just mentioned them. We need to get them off the streets. Was there multiple individuals in the vehicle? If so, how many?
Some of this is going to be hard to
We don't have
hear.
any information to indicate that there's multiple people in the car.
So at this point, you guys believe you're looking for one individual?
Possibly, yes.
And do you believe that individual is a male?
We do not know, and we don't have any information to confirm the sex of that suspect at this time.
Major, is NYPD, are you guys coordinating with them? You know, if they drove into New York City, cameras, stuff like that? Is that
We are working closely with NYPD. We are working closely with Nassau County PD. We are working closely with our federal partners. We are working closely with state police agencies in the surrounding tri-state area, local police departments. The number of police departments that are engaged with us in this investigation is way too many to list. But yes, to answer your question, is NYPD one of them? Yes.
You have that right. There are way too many lists. In the next few, you're not going to be able to hear the questions because the audio sucks. But then there was this. This was 4 months ago. And not long later.
The New York State trooper who was shot on the Southern State Parkway in Nassau County was released from the hospital. Hundreds of fellow troopers applauded after 27-year-old Thomas Mascia was wheeled out from Nassau University Medical Center. His parents were at his side. Police say Mascia was shot in the leg Wednesday night as he tried to help a stranded driver in West Hempstead.
Well, we are angry beyond words at what was done to him. We're also extremely grateful that today he is going home.
Going home is all that.
Excellent. We're all very happy for you.
Authorities are still searching for the shooter, who they say took off in a car, possibly a Dodge Charger with rear tinted windows and custom matte gray dual exhaust tips. The car also had a temporary New Jersey license plate.
And then it started seeming.
A wounded state trooper got a rousing send-off from his colleagues when he was released from the hospital last week. Tonight, he's under criminal investigation after
Fishy.
police say his story about how he was shot doesn't add up.
Thomas Mascia was found to be in violation of our rules and
This one look familiar, does he?
regulations, and it is for this reason that he is suspended without pay.
Shot fired, I'm hit. Westbound, Southern State, right before exit 17.
Mascia heard over police radio saying he had been shot approaching a black Dodge Charger parked in the median of the Southern State Parkway. It set off a massive police search. Police say the whole thing was made up.
We have reason to believe that the incident did not occur the way it was reported.
Do we have any suspects outstanding?
Vehicle fled westbound from 17 in a dark-colored black Charger.
Today, state police saying the search for the suspect vehicle and any suspects over. When asked why,
Providing those details at this point could compromise our investigation.
an investigation that included a search of Mascia's home. Sources tell News 4 investigators found a large amount of cash and weapons inside the house, and they are looking into whether the 5-year state police veteran actually shot himself in the leg.
I'm very disappointed. I think that it overshadows the outstanding and great work that the members of the state police and the state troopers do each and every day.
Anyway, that's the end of that one. Stop. So, a little backstory on this one. You heard them say they found a large cache of cash and guns. A little backstory. His father was with the NYPD in the 90s, and he was convicted for being a large part of a cocaine cartel running drugs from Brooklyn to Suffolk County. He would either steal the drugs from evidence or from the other drug dealers and then move them from Brooklyn through Suffolk County. Also, back in 2022, this trooper, Junior, claimed he was the victim of a hit and run. And apparently he's forgotten, like this case, that they have cameras all over the place. And apparently, I'm guessing law enforcement checked some cameras. And when they got to checking where he said he was at, they saw no dark Charger. And like I said, they were due back in court in February, and I have seen nothing from it. So we have this.
Former trooper arrested. He says he was shot, but investigators say he faked it all. Now the charges he's facing tonight. That's where we start at 6 o'clock. I'm David Ushery.
I'm Natalie Pascarella. Long Island prosecutors say that trooper made up an elaborate story just to, quote, gain attention or sympathy, and now he's resigned.
Investigators say it's true that Thomas Mascia was shot in the leg last year on the Southern State Parkway, but they say he shot himself, and it was on purpose. News Source Greg Sergel's been covering this story. He's in Mineola with the details. And the charges, Greg, his parents are facing as well.
Yes, because his father is a convicted felon.
Well, David, let's point out that prosecutors say Macia's parents are facing charges, a gun charge that's unrelated to their son's alleged hoax. But their son is facing possible prison time for violating what the DA says was his oath as an officer.
Last November, then State Trooper Thomas Mascia was hailed a hero for surviving an on-the-job shooting. But today, the now former trooper was led away in handcuffs, charged with staging what Nassau's DA called an elaborate work of fiction.
The evidence uncovered and the absence of evidence told us everything we needed to know.
Shot fired, I'm hit.
It began last October with Mascia's radio call for help. The 27-year-old claimed he had been shot in the leg while approaching a car parked in the median of the Southern State Parkway.
Do we have any suspects outstanding?
A massive police search followed the shooting, but investigators say they quickly realized the trooper's story had a lot of holes.
Our investigation determined that Mascia deliberately shot himself, and he lied about it.
State police say Mascia used a .22 caliber rifle, shooting himself in a Hempstead park, then returning to the parkway. After the incident, during a search of his West Hempstead home, troopers say they found that rifle Mascia used to shoot himself.
Did you shoot yourself?
Mascia said nothing today as he left court without bail. But the state police PBA said in a statement, "We are saddened and sickened by this case." Prosecutors say they don't know exactly why Mascia carried out the alleged hoax. But the criminal complaint document said, quote, "It was for the benefit of gaining attention or sympathy for himself."
What he did is unconscionable. He failed his brothers and sisters in law enforcement.
I have gladly accepted his resignation. He is no longer a trooper.
And late today, a Mascia family lawyer told the Associated Press that the former trooper has been suffering from mental health issues for years, issues that have gone untreated. Mascia is due back in court next month. He faces 1 to 3 years in prison if convicted. We're live in Mineola. Greg Sergel, News 4 New York.
Thank you, Greg. Also, this trooper left shell casings. He went, shot himself in the leg, applied the tourniquet, drove to his parents' house, and then drove back to where he was found. Think about that. He shot himself in the leg, applied a tourniquet, drove to his parents' house, hid the gun, and then went back to create a crime scene. You can't make this up. So, that's where we're at with this one. I know I forgot to say it the second time. And the third time, but I'll say it now. Let me know what you think about this one in the video, or in the comments. Also, 93% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You got your phone in your hand, you got your computer. All you gotta do is click the button. Let me know what you think about this one, and I'm out.